and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by Superintendent Hime. We are almost into the end of, it's the middle of September, but it goes
Fall
fast.
weather's trying to sneak in. Kind of warmed up a little bit this weekend.
It did.
But still a little better weather. Everything's going full scales. Parent-teacher conferences this week for elementary. Next week is middle school, and I believe then high school is coming up. Be sure and check your student's school on the webpage or their calendar, and make sure you attend our student parent-teacher conferences.
That's right, and we do have them staggered for our families. We know that's something we've done for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes, try to have them different nights so that if you have somebody in middle school and high school and elementary or any two, that you're not trying to make 2 conferences in the same night.
That's it. Now we have some forms that we're getting ready to fill out. We have our October 1 deadline, so some of the things that are going to come out.
October 1 is always our big paperwork deadline. So we always have, this year everybody gets to eat free. So when everybody eats free, we don't have to send out that big form that we call our free and reduced lunch form, but our state pays us for state aid based upon income. So we need everybody to fill out the income summary form that we're going to send out, and we'll probably send those out. And if you've already filled that out and jot or something that gets filled out again, please just fill it out again and send it back. We're just trying to make sure we get everybody we can, because we get state aid for every one of those forms that qualifies. And those are some of the ways we pay for our teacher bonuses, some of the resources. We're going to try to redo our auditoriums, all these things, fencing, security. We use that money for all those things. So it's really important that you fill those out. So you should be getting those. If you're not qualified, anybody that's not qualified should be getting another form, probably in a paper form. You can still go online and do it even if you got a paper form, but we need all those in we can get.
That's it. And the home language surveys for the families that did not finish completing them, they went out last week. So you'll get some forms. Yes, you'll get some forms in notification, and it is for us to get that done by October 1st.
Impact aid?
Yes, that's working. October 1st, they should go out, but that should be a paper form.
Yep, a paper form for everybody that qualifies. Make sure you fill that out. And even if you've already filled one out, it may just be to make sure we have the correct address. When you're doing as many of those as we do, sometimes people make clerical errors, and we do thousands of them, so sometimes 1 or 2 of them may have the wrong address. So we just try to confirm that we have the correct address on a lot of that stuff.
Right. So thank you on behalf of us early and in advance.
We know it can get tedious, all these paperwork we're asking you to do. And you're like, I know I filled this out. I know I filled that one out. And if you got 2 or 3 kids, they all want it for their school, and you just want to fill out one. So please bear with us, and please take the time to do it, and know that there is a rhyme to the reason. A reason to the rhyme.
There you go. I always mix them up too, so you're right.
There we go. But anyway, thank you for having patience with us and filling those forms out.
And now we want to remind our families, Friday, we have a virtual day.
Yes. Now, this is one thing we need to get over. First of all, Friday is our foundation breakfast at Golden Corral. Big shout out to the people at Golden Corral for letting us do this, for letting the foundation do this. If you haven't got your tickets for Breakfast Friday, please join us for breakfast on Friday. It's a huge event, and the money goes to the foundation. The Golden Corral donates almost everything to the foundation. So that's big. The other thing is, that's a virtual day. And one thing we need to make sure all of our parents understand is, when we went to school, we didn't have virtual days, but we had lots of PD days. Well, our virtual days are virtual for our students, but they're still professional development days for our teachers. So every one of our teachers will have some professional development scheduled for Friday. And plus, a lot of them will go to the breakfast, and then a lot of them will have to do some work to check their students' work online and making sure they're helping when they need. So it's a really busy day for our teachers. So don't think it's just a day out. And I understand we try not to have too many of them, because our parents, you got to find babysitters. It's hard on the businesses if you can't go to work, and all those things. So we try to keep those to a minimum, but really we've learned to do both in the same day. So we don't have the 4 or 5 PD days and the 4 or 5 virtual days. We just combine them, and we only have 4 or 5 of those a year. And hopefully we don't get a bunch of snow days that we end up being virtual or not at school that also cause a hardship for our families.
All right, and we're not ready for snow anyway.
No,
right?
we just want some cooler. But you know, Oklahoma, it'll go from 100 degrees to snowing.
That's it. And we're talking about fall sports too. We'll just bring that up because a lot of activity.
Hey, big shout out to our bands. If you missed it, go to the MacArthur band page. We've been looking at that. But
on OSN.
On OSN. But all 3 of our bands, big shout out to our bands, all 3 high school bands played the national anthem together on Friday night for the football game, and that was really exciting. And if it kind of goes back to what we talked about last week with our student leaders, that we are one.
Yes.
You know, we are one Lawton. That doesn't mean we ever want to do away with that competition, because it's fun to watch those football games, and we compete in football, basketball, baseball, softball, and everything, esports, and we do a great job of that. But we also want to do some things together we can and be one Lawton. So a big shout out to the band directors for putting that together. I kind of mentioned some of that to Miss Oates, Charlotte Oates, our director of arts, and I just kind of mentioned, hey, somebody did this. What do you think? And I was kind of like, maybe next year we could do it. Now, next year wasn't for her. She and the band directors pulled it off in 6 days. So big shout out to them.
And just as an FYI, because we like that so much, our fine arts programs are going to continue with the collaboration of all three schools into, I believe, middle school. But they're going to have a big performance later on. So I'll save that for the next time. Yes. Maybe we'll bring them on and talk about that.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Yay. Now, we have some big congratulations.
Yes.
Last week and the last few weeks, we've had a lot of recognition. We'll start with our student first of our national merit.
Yeah, we had a national merit.
Semifinalist, Dylan Helvey.
Dylan Helvey at MacArthur, correct?
Yes.
Yes, so we have a national merit semifinalist. Hey, that test is also coming up October 3rd for juniors. So if you're a junior parent and you want your kid in that, we should be starting some prep for that and doing a lot of things. Big shout out when you have one, because we'd never want to go a year without a national merit semifinalist. And so thank you, Dylan Helvey, for making sure Lawton Public Schools had one this year.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, and then we had two of our administrators. We had Relicia Stanley.
Yes, I was able to go to the JOM, which is Johnson O'Malley Conference, was in Durant. So I got to go to that, and I went to watch as Relicia Stanley was celebrated as the Teacher of the Year for the at-large district, and that was a national group. JOM is, and it was a big shout out to her, and it was just fun to see how much she interacts with the national and the state people to work to make sure our kids, our students at Lawton Public Schools, are getting all the things or the benefits they can get out of JOM. So big shout out to her, and congratulations, Miss Stanley, on your award.
And then we had Miss Doris Bigler, who won the Siegfried Excellence in STEM Educator Award. She was a finalist, and we were crossing our fingers. She's a winner to us, so we want to
Yes, and we celebrated that. Yes. If you saw on Facebook, we were able to celebrate her with a big award at the classroom, and they came down here, and then she got to go to the banquet herself, and so big shout out to her as well.
Her award was pretty cool. It was made out of an actual airplane window. It was wonderful. It's a unique piece of art, so you have to check them out.
But again, our STEM program, and she works hard with that group, is second to none. We know that our maker spaces in elementary and what we do with boat races and robots, and now we're doing Lego leagues, is great. And she's one of those people that kind of drives that and keeps everybody, the glue that keeps all that together for us. So thank you, Doris, and congratulations.
Absolutely. Lego first. There'll be more to come on that. Our kids are already preparing for their first competition in October.
Wow.
Lots of great things. Mr. Hime, we did have a request from a student, Miss Christiana, wanted us to just talk about fall break and the season of what's happening. So
if you look at the school calendar, we got Friday off for our students, not at school, virtual day, PD day. And then if you roll it on up into October, I believe it's 13th through 17th, that week is fall break. And people say, well, how do you get a week for fall break? Well, schools were starting to take 2 and 3 days off for fall break. Wednesday through Friday got to be the norm. Well, Tuesday was, one day could be a parent-teacher day, because we got to have a day in the calendar, because we do our parent-teacher conferences at night. So we give a day to our teachers to make up for the night parent-teacher conference days where they work at night. And then Columbus Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day, is a day that, for whatever reason, as a federal holiday in this area, was a low attendance day. So Lawton Public Schools started taking that as a no-school day. So when we look at the calendar, we were basically, let's just put it all in the same week and give everybody a week off, and it's really worked out good for our people. So we're excited about that. And then if you look at the calendar into November before you get to Thanksgiving, don't forget that we do take off again as a national holiday because of Attendance Day is Veterans Day.
Yes.
We have a no school day. And then we usually, depending on the calendar, have a virtual day either scheduled before or after Veterans Day to make it a long weekend for our families, not our teachers. Again, it will be a virtual day, but it'll still be a PD day with them doing some things. So
that's it. That's a lot of stuff, you guys. We have so much going on. It's the middle of September. We have a lot of accolades and a lot of big promotions coming up as far as events and
Yes.
whatnot. But we wanted to give you a highlight. I think-
District football's about to start.
Yes, and
Softball's full swing, volleyball full swing, cross country. I went to the all-city cross country meet last Friday. It's always fun. Big shout out to for them for putting that on.
it was a nice turnout. And we had our stream teams out, so we'll have more events being covered and found on our LPS TV channel. So if you're not subscribed already, please do so because you'll get the alerts when we're live.
And again, we need you to text us or email us, not text, but email us, info at lawtonps.org. Email us things you want us to talk about, different guests, and things you want on the show so we can provide that information you want to get. But thanks for joining us. And then don't forget our webpage is lawtonps.org. So you can go to lawtonps.org, and that's our webpage. And always go through our webpage and look for things. If it's too many clicks or it doesn't have the information you're looking for, and again, you can email that email address again, and we'll work on making it. A webpage that's designed for 14,000 families can be complicated for some and not as easy to use as it should be. So we always work to try to, one of the sayings we have is you don't have to be bad to get better. We don't think we have a bad web page, but we can make it better. So if you got ways for us to make it better, let us know.
That's it, correct. And we've got a lot of good things on there, so you always want to stay up to date with what we have. Mr. Hime, thank you so much for your time. You guys enjoy this beautiful weather because we don't know how long it'll last in Oklahoma, but we're going to take advantage of it now. Until next time, Mr. Hime, let's wish them farewell, be well, stay safe, and make positive impacts. Have a good one.